Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Shanae. She is at it again, this time with Kelsey Mitchell. But also, I also wanted to play this for something Kelsey Mitchell said, which I thought was really cool. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not sure which one's up first. I did a Sydney Colson video talking about the opportunities and the growth of WNBA and the Indiana Fever and Clark fans and so forth. And I thought Kelsey Mitchell had some nice things to say as well. So I wanted to play that. When you get these Fever players. Kelsey Mitchell voluntarily came back, right? She could have gone anywhere. Sydney Colson voluntarily came here, and you get them speaking out in this way, and I think that can do wonders for. I don't think it's going to change the old guard. I don't think it's going to change the sports media, but I think it might change new people coming now that are now interested in checking out Caitlin Clark that maybe haven't been invested in the past few years, and they're like, they've heard some not so great things about the fans. So first, let's talk about this. Kelsey Mitchell had some interesting things to say about her decision to come back to the Indiana Fever.
I've been asked some questions about the NIL lately, about where the game is going lately. And I think for me, if I can give or drop any form of advice based off experience, is that all money is not good money. And I mean that literally. I've seen myself in situations where I had to figure out if I wanted to come back to Indy. I had to figure out what was best for me. I lost my parent. So it was like figuring out what I needed, and I figured out that you have to go where you're literally loved. And I mean that literally, and I mean that intentionally. Go where you're loved and not tolerated, because all money is not good money. So,
Go where you're loved. And she stayed in Indiana. And I am telling you, you deal a whole lot more with fandom as an athlete than you necessarily do with the front office people when you're talking about a day-to-day basis and how it impacts your life. Okay. So while she didn't specifically say fans, that is absolutely a shout out and an endorsement of the Indiana Fever fans. I always want to say, and the Caitlin Clark fans too. I guess we could just go with Indiana Fever at this point. You know what I'm talking about. So I thought that was really cool for her to say that again with no qualifications, nothing else, just all money's not good money. What was best for me was to be where I'm loved, and that was staying in Indiana. That was staying with the Fever. That was playing with Caitlin Clark. That was trying to bring a championship back to Indy. So I thought that was really, really cool for her to say. And then of course, if I can find it, Shanae had to go here. And again, also listen to what Kelsey Mitchell says, because I want to give her some credit for this as well. But you're going to love how she frames this question. It's all in the framing and the wording, folks. It's like Elle with her, well, Judy, you're the face of women's basketball. Tell me your why. She's the what? It's as good as that.
I feel like everyone uses that, but at the same time, I feel like it's just lit. Like women's basketball, the game, how far it's come, the excitement, the attention. Maybe I'll start with you, Kel.
The excitement, the attention, it's lit. Why? Why is it lit, Shanae? Why? Well, she doesn't like why, which is why we're going to get this question framed the way it is.
Because, Lord Jesus, your team and their fans,
Jesus.
they be getting up in everybody's business. Starting with you, Kelsey, and then going to B and NECA. How have you guys experienced? Is there like a moment that you think of when it comes to the explosion of the game and how it has changed the game?
Oh man, I think I've seen both sides of it. For one, like being on a team with like Kaylin and knowing that some of the stuff and the wave that she created for like, as you know, where the game is and what she's been a part of, like as far as this process, I've seen so much of it. And so I think for me lately is the shift in moments in Indiana period, as far as like the arena, where we started. And B was my vet, kinda, right? Mm-hmm. Kinda.
We up there, sis. We up there.
She was a Fever girl first. And so she also saw, and you know, she's a vet too. They've seen what Indiana was, and I think now where it's at now, the big moment is seeing the shift and being a part of it from a standpoint of I know where Indiana was, and so to see the cultivation of it, you just grow to appreciate the process and you know the growth in which the game is going.
That is, I mean, I think that's a great answer from Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, Shanae was really, that was a, hey, throw your fans under the bus question. And Kelsey Mitchell, I thought, handled it really well. It seemed like she was kind of caught a little off guard. She didn't really want to go where Shanae wanted her to go. So she kind of talked in circles and just talked about, hey, how it was before. And it's so much better now. And I played that clip about not all money is good money. And she stayed in Indiana. So you get the idea. But man, Shanae, Shanae is, and I think I say it right here, the same woman who said Caitlyn was the needle. Yes, she did, because well, I said she is cool though, so no beef. Just keep feeding Angel lies. That's to another clip. I'll probably get that in another video. I might make this one kind of long. It says, we'll disagree on her being cool. A snake is more accurate, and that's exactly what I think she is. Let's see if I have the right one. Because you remember this? We all remember this?
Caitlin Clark in her decision, I not only respect it, but I wholeheartedly support it. You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history.
She is the needle. She's the needle because of her fans, Shanae. But, those fans you don't like that say all up in people's business. Now I'm finally going to get to that part. All up in people's business. Hey, do y'all remember when Caitlin Clark was in Iowa and all the nastiness and the Caitlin Clark fans were all over everywhere, pushing back on everything and being nosy and bashing other players and all? No? Really? Oh, that could be because it did not happen. Because this all up in people's business thing is an absolute lie. Let me break it down to you. Here is the formula Shanae is following. She just does a slightly better job than some of those like Renee. Y'all not like us. Montgomery. Shanae tries to be a little more subtle with her comments, but she does not like the Caitlin Clark fans. She does not like that they are having such an impact, and she is lying in her framing of the question about them all up in people's business. No, again, back to what I just said. The formula, this is, I'm going to say these awful things. I'm going to lie about you. Then when you push back and say, oh, no, wait a minute, that is not true, I'm going to play victim because it's you in my business, right? So that's how it goes. They bash the Fever fans, call them hateful, call them the R word, call them every ism, and phobe. And then they will say, wait, well, hold up. Who are you to call me these things? You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. And you don't have any proof about this. You just don't like me because I like Caitlin Clark. And then they play victim when you do that. Oh my gosh, why the Clark fans, the Fever fans, they're always attacking us. They're always up in our business. It's so unfair. They're so mean. I can't take it anymore. Nonsense. Shanae is a snake trying to play both sides. And don't forget that she is the needle thing. The reason she was so happy is because Caitlin Clark turned down the NBA 3-point contest offer. That's why she said that, because she's glad that Caitlin Clark did that, because she would not have liked all of the attention. And shout out to Caitlin Clark for that, because y'all know doing that at the NBA, she would have gotten so much attention. And I know you all think, well, she already has a lot of attention. She's one of the most famous athletes in the world. Yes. But again, bigger platform than the WNBA. But she said, no, I'm going to do my first one in Indiana. I'm going to do my first one with the WNBA. And Shanae loved that for the rest of the league, which is why she was willing to say nice things about Caitlin Clark being the needle. That is why she was able to, that is why she said those things. Right. So she's going to play both sides. She's going to play both sides. And I said, no, there's, when something good happens, I'll say it. And I credited her for that. But that doesn't mean I've changed my mind on who she is. And she's showing you right there with that question who she is. But let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. As always, appreciate you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Also, almost forgot, go have the day you deserve.